give you 5 seller tips today. We're going to start with tip number 1. Tip number 1 is your front entryway. Take a look up, see if there happen to be any cobwebs. Clear the cobwebs. And then take a look down below, and you might want to sweep and take away anything at the front entryway, if there's old plants, or sprucing them up with something a little bit new. Let's make our way inside. So for you to remember and recall, tip number 1, that's your front entryway. Go outside and imagine that you're the buyer. Imagine that you've just come to see this beautiful new home. And you might choose to sweep the entryway. You might choose to clear the front entrance of anything that would obstruct the buyer's way of coming into the home. Tip number 2. As we enter, you notice this beautiful spacious room that we're in. Now, if you notice behind me, we have flooring and we have paint color. Tip number 2 might be, if you choose to, paint the walls. You know, paint is not a really expensive way to change a property. And if you have smaller spaces, you might choose to lighten up those spaces. Using lighter colors may enhance, it may enlarge, or give the sensation of enlarging a room. So tip number 2, think about the paint. Tip number 3 is possible upgrades. Now, as you can see behind me, this kitchen, it's been upgraded. And for you, your kitchen, everything might be perfect for where you are now. You may want to just take a look at your appliances, see if they're dated, make sure everything is functioning. That also includes your air conditioning, your air handler, and your condenser, the inside and outside units. That includes your refrigerator, your range, your microwave, your garbage disposal, your hot water heater, and even your electric box. That's a whole nother video. But for now, on tip number 3, you're going to take a look and see about the upgrades in the house. Just noticing whether something needs to be repaired, possibly needs to be replaced. Now come on outside with me. We're going to take a little walk out to the garage. Now that might be a space that you haven't seen in a while, right? We use our garage space in Florida so many times as a storage unit. And other people may not choose to do that. They may choose to put their vehicles in the garage. So one idea for you might be clear the clutter. So tip number 4 is going to be about clearing the clutter. So let's take a look out here. This garage doesn't have anything in it except for those trash cans there. Recycling is a great idea. And then this particular garage, they've left the cabinets for extra storage. And behind me, that's that electric box I was referring to. And over here, hopefully I didn't make you too dizzy, that's the hot water heater. So as you can see in this property, there's nothing in here. Well, what's so important about clearing the clutter? Buyers want to see a wide open space. They want to know how much space that they can use. So, as you make your way through your house, and hopefully I'm not making you too dizzy, wobbling my screen. I'm a novice at this video thing. But what I'm not a novice at is helping you sell your house. So let's go back to this clear the clutter. You might choose to take some of the items in your house that are important and that you want to keep. You can take those items and put them into plastic containers and store those in your garage. If your garage is cluttered and the buyer's not able to see all of the space, they may not be able to tell if their vehicle will fit or how much space they might be able to use as storage as well. So tip number 4, you're going to clear the clutter. Let's take a walk back inside and let's cover each one of those tips one more time through. So we said tip number 1, not that there's a quiz, but tip number 1, that's your front entryway. Please take a look at your front entryway. Take notice. You know, when you come through the front door, is it clear? Is it clean? Tip number 2, the paint color. You may choose to have some new paint put on your walls, either hiring a professional or doing it yourself. Take a look at your spaces. Do they feel closed in and small, or do they feel wide open? Tip number 3, check and make sure that everything is in working order and make a choice if you want to make upgrades. Not necessarily upgrades to add value to the sales price of the property, meaning that what you put into it and what you get out of the property, and we can discuss that in a personal phone call if you'd like, or an email, or you can go on the website. So tip number 3 was updates and upgrades and making sure everything's in working condition. That's kind of 3 of them for tip number 3, but we're gonna move on. Tip number 4 was clear the clutter. Make sure that it's wide open, especially the garage, so that a buyer can come in and see what that beautiful space is. And you know, clearing the clutter could even mean those counters, moving away some of those items and putting those away. And then tip number 5. Tip number 5 comes straight from my heart. I've had the opportunity to be in this business for a very long time, and I am very passionate about it. And I have to say that it does make a difference who you choose to help you sell your house. Are they using the latest in technology? And especially during these trying times, are they able to share 3D, 24/7 virtual tours? Some people share and some people don't. We happen to offer those. We also offer you virtual tours just like this, very similar to, where we walk through the house and we're able to take you from room to room and show you the details of the property, inclusive of the front yard, the backyard, patios, and point out any features that the property might have that might appeal to you. As an example, let me share this with you, and I know this isn't exactly one of those seller tips, but take a look at this. This cabinet door is self-closing. That means none of that banging when you open the doors. The sellers on this property took time and chose to make their doors those self-closing doors. So when I open and I let go. I once had someone say that they wouldn't even go look at the property if the doors weren't self-closing. We never know, and we're here to find what it is that the buyer is looking for. So as a seller, take a walk around the house as well. And notice, if you were a buyer, what would appeal to you? And what might you want to change? So that brought us to tip number 5. It's the professional that you choose.